here's the car's just sitting at idle. You can probably see my hands kind of jerking back and forth. Here's the RPMs. You can see this bottle of water down here. Hey, what's up guys? This is Cody. I'm driving my friend Evan's 2013 Mustang V6. It's basically got full bolt-ons, and what it has different than most, it has a MPT E85 tune, and as well as that, it also has the Ghost Cam E85 tune from MPT. So I'm just gonna kind of drive around and talk kind of my first impressions of this tune, in case you're thinking about buying it and kind of want to know what you're getting into. I've driven this car, this is my 4th or 5th time driving it since it's had the E85 and Ghost Cam tune, and there are definitely a few quirks about it, more so on the Ghost Cam tune. So I mean, first of all, you get the Ghost Cam tune, and assuming your engine is you know, completely warm, you have to blip the throttle when you're parked or initially after starting it in order to get the Ghost Cam to activate. So I mean, it's not really an issue. I mean, it's just tapping the throttle, but I mean, and that's, you only have to do it once too, so it's really not an issue, just something to point out. Another thing is the when you're driving and coming to a stop, there's like a burst of power when, especially when you're in first gear and you're, you know, very slow rolling to a stop. You have to brake extra hard because that extra power just wants to keep pushing you forward. And it's not only annoying, but honestly, in some situations, if you're not expecting it or you forget that it will do that, it can be kind of dangerous. If it's wet outside, like right now it's raining, if we had to come to sudden stop, I mean, the car would keep trying to go forward with that extra power, and you just have to know to brake hard enough. So once again, not a big issue, just it is kind of annoying, something you need to know if you're looking into buying this. Don't know if it only does that because it's the E85 tune, or if it all the Ghost Cam tunes do that. So the other thing is, once the engine is warm and the Ghost Cam is activated, if you're just sitting there at an idle, sometimes the car will, you know, it'll kind of act like a cam car where it just kind of shakes back and forth like that. But when you start creeping forward, like in traffic, it gets ridiculously, the whole car like rattles back and forth, and it just honestly does not feel good for the engine at all. It feels like the engine is like broken a motor mount and it's just constantly shaking back and forth. So that's kind of all I can think about for the Ghost Cam part of the tune. I guess next I'll talk about the E85. Obviously, if you're going to switch to E85 fuel, you're probably looking to get more power. So I'm located in Northwest Arkansas, and up here there's no 93 octane. There's one gas station that offers 93 octane, and they treat it, they're like a monopoly with it. They charge $2 or $3 extra than what it should be per gallon. So it honestly just made a little bit more sense to switch to E85. Come and Goes and Mapco marts, they all have it, so it's pretty readily available up here. So, and on top of that, we got extra power. The car has not been dynoed, so I can't say for sure that it got extra power. The colder the weather has gotten, it has felt like the car has gained a little bit of power. Like I said, this car has full bolt-ons. We got BBK long tube headers, off-road BBK X-pipe, Borla Attack axle backs, JLT cold air intake, BBK 73 millimeter throttle body. What else do we have? We got obviously the MPT tune. We're still on stock Pirelli 235 tires. They're the all-season ones, so they're pretty bad, especially when it gets colder. This car will definitely lose traction, especially through the first gear shift. So saying all that, the car feels like it has gained a little bit of power. I think the tune cost $150. That's assuming you don't already have like an account or a recent purchase with MPT. This car previously had a Bama tune on it, and MPT compared to Bama is 100 times better. I do not recommend the Bama tune to anybody. It's just, I honestly feel like it's a beginner level tune. It does increase power over stock, but the drivability is okay, but it's just, especially if you're looking for power, it's just not the way you want to go. They don't maximize power. MPT is by far the way to go. They maximize power, and they also they retain like stock drivability. So I think it's a win-win with MPT. You get more power and it still feels like stock, you know, just daily driving. So I guess once we get up here, we're in some turns, and as you can see, it's raining too. So it was dry right when I left, and then it starts raining. It looks like it might be clear up here, and I think there will be a few straights. We'll do a few little pulls and show you. So I guess the next thing I can talk about this car. So it's got full bolt-ons. Basically all you can do besides digging into the engine. And one thing that's kind of subjective is the exhaust sound. A lot of people think it sounds good, a lot of people think it sounds bad. I'm kind of indifferent. One thing to know, if you take the cats off with the off-road X-pipe or even an off-road H-pipe, it gets ridiculously loud. I'm talking, it's 100 decibels or more loud. If someone is next to your pipes and you rev it, or you're driving and you floor it, it could cause hearing damage. It is ridiculously loud, and that makes it a really fun car to drive because you have a loud exhaust, but it's also kind of scary because it's definitely illegal, and you definitely don't want to get caught with it because you could face some fines or just some other penalties from law enforcement. So we'll do a quick little pull through here. Do second gear, about 30. So I drive a 2015 Mustang V6, and if you're following the channel, you know the car's at MPT right now getting tuned because I'm putting twin turbos on it. But it's been a good 3 going on 4 months now that the car's been away. But comparing this driving to my car, power wise, not, you know, comparing the live axle to the independent suspension, just the power, this car definitely, I mean, we've raced and it is definitely faster. My car has the BBK shorty headers. I had the Unleashed 93 tune. I had an X-pipe with the resonator delete and then muffler deletes. And I had larger rear tires, so colder weather, they were still all-season tires, so in colder weather I would spin through the first gear a little bit, but for the most part I always had traction. But I guess on this, comparing to this car, about from 0 to maybe 30, 40, somewhere in there, the cars perform about the same, but the higher end you get, I guess that's just the mixture of the long tube headers, and then I forgot to mention, this car has the Ford Performance 373 rear end gears. So don't know, I'm not an expert on gear ratios, but that may have to do with why the car will pull a lot harder in the basically past third gear compared to my car, which has stock 315 gears. So it's obviously that these mods do make a difference. As you can hear, it's very loud. That was only up to 4,000 RPM. So with these long tube headers and the off-road X-Pipe, from about 1 to 3,000, maybe 3,500 RPM, the car, I'll put in quotes, it's kind of, the sound is subdued a little bit, but it's still loud nonetheless. But once you get past 3,500 RPM, that's when the sound goes from, you know, somewhat raspy to really raspy and loud, and just, it's basically just in your face, like ridiculously loud past 3,500 RPM. So I mean, like I mentioned, if you're trying to keep quiet and if you're in a residential area or something just late at night and, you know, don't want to disturb anybody, you'll definitely have to constantly drive within like the 2,000 RPM range at minimal throttle. I'll get in a lower gear and let you hear that real quick. Okay, so we'll go in second gear. No, we'll go back to third. So this is just this is cruising in third gear. I'm about 2,500 RPM right now. I'm gonna slowly give it throttle. We're at 3,000. You can hear it getting loud, 3,500 right there. That was at constant throttle. That probably wasn't even half throttle. That was just, you know, barely slowly increasing the RPMs. This was filmed in Mexico.